Listen, so first one we got today, Paul Duffy, Thomas McDonald, owner of the store, one of the new upcoming, well, he's established now as captains here on the island. Wanted just to start out, since it's our first one, want to welcome both of you guys, and Paul, thanks for the hospitality out here.
Absolutely, happy to have you guys.
I was talking about earlier that, 1997 or 96, I walked in this store. I think it was Trevor's when he owned it, when he came in. And I just remember coming in here, basically when I first got to the island, I've got no money whatsoever. And I'm walking in probably one of the coolest hunting, fishing, cigar stores I've ever seen.
Lowcountry Outfitters.
Lowcountry Outfitters, exactly.
Yeah,
and the Benellis on the wall, the cigars were awesome. And he was a big, tall guy. I don't know if he's still around.
Oh, yeah, no.
He was a sweetheart, and you were really welcome when you came in the store. It's gone through a couple owners. You're here now. What year are we going on now for Southern Drawl for you?
We're in year 4, almost 5.
4 year. And when did you come to the island a while? What's your story? Give us a little bit of your background before you got to owning the store.
So how I got here was my wife and I had moved from Massachusetts down to Mount Pleasant. I was working at Charleston Angler for a little while and decided to start looking in other areas, and had met Josh and had heard the business was for sale and started talking to him, and talked to the wife and said, hey, we'll give it a shot. A great area, great fishing community. Came into the shop and saw that it had great following, but a ton of untapped potential, in my opinion. And I think everybody who just picks up the ball and runs with it adds their own flair to it, and it's easy to build on something that's already rolling.
Absolutely.
So that's what I've tried to do, and it's been a great adventure, and it's been great meeting all the captains and all that stuff, and it continues to evolve, and it's new every day, but it's great to see the way the wheels turn down here. It's pretty great.
So I'll use the word warmth, because when we walk in here, or if I've had to call you a few times in a pinch and say I need something, and I think that's what your success is too, that you get us and that you're there for not only the community but also the captains that are out there. What was your like biggest hurdle when you first bought the store? Was it just walk in turnkey and let's go sell some stuff? Or
I wish. I think the biggest obstacle for me, or the biggest hurdle I had to get over, was not knowing the fishery. I thought I had a year's worth of experience under my belt up in Charleston, but it's amazing how different 2 hours down the coast, how different it can be. So really getting out there and fishing.
What was the difference in Charleston that you see?
The height of the tides, was a bit different. They're certainly more extreme down here. The fishing itself is a little bit different. And my saltwater fishing in this area was continuing to evolve. I don't do a lot of bait fishing, so getting out there and trying to catch things with artificials, and, so it's a lot of trial and error. But I was very fortunate that a lot of the captains said, hey, just come fishing with me, let's go out on my boat, and really my learning curve was cut probably in half because of the generosity of other people.
That's the community that you brought in here too. This fishery too, and him talking about if you were just somebody that moved here, you do have a long learning curve till you're a success. It's a great environment. Would you agree that it's healthy, but sometimes it can be a difficult fishery?
Oh, for sure. I think. Fishing's hard. I do it I tell people it's the only thing I do so much of, but I feel so out of the loop. I feel like, how's fishing, man? Like,
You just,
dude, I don't know.
You just don't know. Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you at 11.
Right.
It's like, dude, I don't know.
And you don't know until you go out there.
Yeah.
It's we were talking earlier, just before you got here, that it's the only job that you basically are holding the trophy up, possibly.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Some days you take the L and you just walk away and see what you did better. So you've had your fly tying shop, the fly tying Tuesdays.
Yep, we've had those.
We've had over here some of the captain meetings and stuff.
Yep.
What do you think is the success to the shop at this point? I know we've changed the dynamic of it with the the layout and stuff. What's succeeding right now for you here in the community?
I think as far as the community goes, the biggest thing that I'm trying to do this year and going forward is classes, and trying to thread the needle and the balance between shortening people who move here's learning curve and not giving away tried and true spots that are going to impact people in negative ways, specifically the captains. So there's resources that we use for fishing from land spots. Luckily, we have the top spot map that's already let the cat out of the bag on a number of spots.
Yeah.
So I don't feel guilty about sharing those. But really, just trying to be that community resource for information and products, but really information and education first. And then once you know what you need, I'll be happy to sell it to you.
And I think that's at least in my eyes, the success that you've had at the store and where you're at right now. That the evolution of it. It's not only the captains, but it's also the community. You're trying to mix them both together. All right, last question. We're going to let you off the hook, and I'm going to probably ask you this question in a little bit. What do you think that the state of our fishery is in health-wise? What do you see? We've had a demographic. I know, I wasn't going to give you all softballs.
No, I'm ready.
And I think we all have to be aware of it. I have my own opinion of it, but I want to hear what you think right now. Where are we at health-wise in this fishery, I guess you want to say right now?
I'll get my soapbox out. I'm not shy about this. I preach catch and release all the time. I think we have a couple issues. We have an exploding year-round resident population that continues to increase. Our tourism, which is great that it keeps going up, but I don't think the DNR curve has caught up with that trend because the spike has been so violent. And I think our redfish population is just absolutely abused. There's only so many places they can go. And everybody wants to put meat in the freezer or, have that picture or go home if they're down here visiting and, eat what they caught that day, and I understand that's a great experience and stuff, but I think we have a lot to do as far as regulation because there's not enough self-control with some people that aren't thinking long term because they may be here for a week, or they come here a couple times a year, where everybody else around here sees it on the long term of like, hey, it's just getting worse and worse. So I think part of what we try to do here is educate so that people do understand the impact. But I think it's going downhill. I think you're starting to see that in Georgia. They're even starting to see it in Louisiana with overfishing. So I think we need to do something before it gets so bad where we just have to shut it down like we did cobia, and it's just non-existent for a few years.
I mean, I couldn't really say it any better from being on the water. Some days I think I'm just not a good fisherman, and maybe they're just not biting. And there seems like if you watch now with social media and all that out there, there's always somebody, depending on how you're following, they slayed it today. They have those spots. You are born here, correct?
Yep.
We're going to get to that one with you too. So you've seen the evolution of it too. I'll ask you when we talk and stuff, but I totally agree on that. And it wouldn't take much of a balance to go back to the numbers going back and stuff. Now, I've even seen it a little bit on the shark population also, and I don't think a lot of people are keeping shark. There's probably a very small minority of people that are doing that. But there is such a pressure right now. And listen, it's before that it was happening, I think, but then it didn't happen with the pandemic. We've got a lot of people wanting to enjoy these beautiful waters, and it's every right for them to, but the laws have to coincide. And that's making us even better fishermen out there because there's fewer fish to catch. So when you have a good day, you almost really, really feel like you've raised the trophy out there.
Yeah, and I think for the guides too, I think if the regulations were so steep, that takes the pressure off of you guys. It's not your opinion or your personal policy that you don't want to keep fish. Well, hey, it's DNR rules, and that helps everybody, but it doesn't hurt you from, well, hey, we're not going to book with you because you don't let us keep fish, where somebody else does, and they'll let us take as many as we want. You know, so I think the regulations would really help the charter industry also, because it would make it an even playing field for everyone.
I agree, and I mean, I feel like we're just coming out of the gate with the hardest issue that's out there, but I think that's one of the things that this can help us do. I've tried to educate everybody on my boat and say, you know, no offense to the guys, the walleye industry up in Ohio is amazing. It has been for the last 30, 40 years now. We're just not that industry. I'd like to go back to that, but I think we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Educating people is the right way to go, and starts with us, basically, because we are the stewards that are on the water, whether it's community or it's the captains on the water. Well, man, I appreciate everything. You want to add anything while we're doing it today? I mean, we couldn't be happier. Your store looks absolutely beautiful. The selection's beautiful.
Thank you.
And the help that you've given me, whether I've called you and said, hey, man, I need some mud minnows, and you dropped them off at the ramp, and I'll catch you later. I can't thank you enough for your support.
Hey, man, that's what we're here for.
All right, let's keep it going. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.